am Rebecca Davis, a weird, scary, and interesting. And I got Snowy here and Stash. And we're going to be talking about a topic for the last season for season 1 of this channel is the historical lost and found box. That'd be a little fun to dive in and see what historical things over time have been lost and some have been refound over time. Okay, the Lost and Found box is a place where people can drop off or receive lost items. But when it comes to historical items being lost and found, it means that the item was lost, then recovered. We are going to find out what kind of historical treasures that were in history's lost and found box. So let's put on our Indiana Jones hats and find out what items over time were lost but recovered from the historical lost and found box. Let's get into it. Number 1. The Stone of Scone. On Christmas morning, 1950, 4 college students from Scotland broke into London's Westminster Abbey and snatched an ancient block of sandstone used for centuries in the coronation of Scottish monarchs, until it was seized from Scotland's Scone Abbey in 1296 by an ancestor of mine, England's King Edward I. Yeah, descendant of Edward I. Okay. The king had the Stone of Scone, also called the Stone of Destiny, moved to Westminster Abbey and placed in a special chair upon which English and later British monarchs have been crowned since the early 14th century. The artifact's origins are uncertain, but according to one biblical figure, Jacob used a stone as a pillow. That'd be a little hard on your head as laying down on sandstone. But then I guess they didn't have the pillows they have nowadays. The Scottish students viewed the removal of the stone, which they accidentally broke into while taking it. It was an act of nationalism. The heist made headlines around the world, but police failed to find the stone. However, in April 1951, a year later, the hefty artifact turned up at Scotland's Arbroath Abbey, draped in the national flag. Although the authorities determined the identity of the students involved in the theft, they were never prosecuted. The stone was returned to Westminster Abbey in time for Queen Elizabeth II's 1953's coronation. But in 1996, on the 700th anniversary of its removal, the next time it was returned to Westminster Abbey was in time for King Charles III's 2023's coronation. The British government sent the iconic object back to Scotland on the condition it can be used for future royal coronations at Westminster Abbey. The Stone of Scone is now housed in New Plymouth Museum in Scotland. I had to make sure where it's housed now when I wrote this script. Good to check your facts. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Walt Whitman's notebooks. In the early 1940s, during World War II, we're going to be talking about a little bit of the Second World War, not much. Thanks for hacking in the middle of the screen, Snowy. Okay. During the World War II, the Library of Congress packed up a number of valuable items into its collections, including 10 notebooks once belonging to celebrated poet Walt Whitman, which he was from 1819 to 92, and sent them to locations outside of Washington, D.C. for safekeeping. I guess it's better safe than being sorry later on. It was tense times back then, so sometime during the process, Whitman's notebooks, which had been donated to the library in 1918 by one of the libertary executioners, and disappeared, and were thought stolen. Guess you think of anything when you move stuff. Prized by scholars, the notebooks contained early versions of material that later appeared in Whitman's famous 1855 book of poetry. Okay, Leaves of Grass, and also including chronicle of Whitman's time as a nurse for the Union Army during the U.S. Civil War. In 1995, some 50 years after the notebooks went missing, 4 of them reappeared in Sotheby's auction house. Oh, that's nice. In New York, brought there by a man who'd discovered them among his deceased father's possessions. According to the man, his father had been given the notebooks as a gift and kept them for 3 decades. The man didn't realize the notebooks, which in 1995 were reportedly worth as much as $500,000, probably worth more today, and had been stolen. Sotheby's returned the notebooks to the Library of Congress, and the whereabouts of the other 6 volumes remain unknown. At least I got half of the collection back, but hopefully they can maybe find the rest of the collection. That'd be nice for the U.S. Okay, let's move on to something else from the U.S. Okay. Number 3. The original copy of the Bill of Rights. In 1789, President George Washington, another relative of mine, had 13 handwritten copies of the Bill of Rights sent to the 13 states of be patient. I have to figure this out. Ratification. Okay. 3/4 of a century later, the Civil War, a Union soldier who wanted a sovereign stole North Carolina's copy of the document from the State House in Raleigh. When U.S. General William Sherman's army occupied the area in 1865. The following year, the soldier sold the document for $5 to the man, who later hung it in his office in Indiana. In the 1920s, the man attempted to sell the historic parchment back to North Carolina, but the officials there refused to shell out money for something they considered stolen government property. Nothing more was heard about the artifact until 1995, when anonymous sellers offered it to North Carolina. Once again, officials declined to buy what they said already belonged to the state. So maybe they should try selling it, try to donate it. But after attempt was made in 2003, the document for $4 million to Philadelphia's museum, the FBI seized it in a sting operation. Following a legal fight in which one of the men involved in the operation claimed he still owned the document. A court officially decided it belonged to North Carolina. At least at the end, North Carolina got their document of the Bill of Rights back. And it took like so many years to get it back. At least it's a happy ending for North Carolina. Okay, we're moving on to number 4, Lydian hoard. In 1987, Turkish government sued New York City's That's just Stash, if you're wondering who's knocking everything over. Okay, back to the Turkish hoard thing. The Metropolitan Museum of Art for the return of the collection of artifacts from the Lydian Kingdom in Western Asia Minor, which flourished in the 7th and 6th century BC. The legendary king Croesus ruled Lydia in 6th century. Yeah, there was BC. There was a place called Lydia a long time ago. Okay. Turkish officials claimed the artifacts referred to as both the Lydian hoard and the Karaman treasure had been looted by burial mounds in western Turkey in 1960s, smuggled out of the country and sold to the Met. Other people didn't know it was a hot item. Anyways, following a lengthy legal battle, the museum in 1993 agreed to return the artifacts to Turkey, where they went on display in, hopefully I get this right, Yasakra, U.S. Accra. Archaeology Museum. However, in 2006, it was discovered that some of the pieces in the collection had been purloined and replaced with forgeries. And permitted among them as gold brooch in the shape of a winged seahorse. Investigation determined that the U.S. Accra's museum director has sold the real brooch to pay off gambling debts. Well, after being caught, the man reportedly blamed his problems on the ancient curse associated with the brooch. Possibly terrible also had befallen the people who illegally excavated Lydian hoard in 1960s. In 2012, authorities, announced the brooch had been found in Germany. That brooch moved fast. And would be returned once again to Turkey. At least it came back on home. After all. And hopefully the brooch stays home in Turkey. Okay. Let's move on to number 5. Oh. Mona Lisa. That's a very famous painting. Let's see why she's in the Lost and Found. Hold on. Okay. In August 1911, a man hid overnight in a closet at the Louvre Museum in Paris, then emerged early the next day when the building was closed to the public and stole the Mona Lisa off a wall. Painted by Italian artist Leonardo da Vinci in the early 1500s. The work, acquired by French monarchy by the mid-16th century, went on display at the Louvre in 1797. The theft of Mona Lisa was international news and dramatically boost in profile. Massive. I'm just charging the phone. A massive manhunt ensued at different points. A young Pablo Picasso And American mogul and art collector J. Pierpont Morgan are among the suspects in the case, but for 2 years there were no signs of the missing masterpiece. Then in late 1913, an art dealer in Florence received a letter from a man who said he had the painting and believed it would be returned to its native Italy, from which he thought incorrectly Napoleon had stole it. Let's throw poor Napoleon under the bus. The man Van Conceist. Okay. Be patient, I'm trying to pronounce this guy's name. Van Sin Zio. How do I pronounce that guy's name? Okay, let's try his last name. Pure Riga. Hopefully that was right. Italian-born house painter who lived in Paris. Brought the Mona Lisa to Florence and showed it in an art collector. The director of, hopefully I get this name right, Uffizi Gallery, who authenticated it, although Pierre Riga, who once worked briefly in the Louvre, claimed he swiped the painting for patriotic reasons. He also was interested in award. Soon after, he was arrested and convicted. Ultimately spending less than a year in jail for the crime. In January 1914, the Mona Lisa was returned to the Louvre, where it remains today. At least another piece of history got back to where it belongs. Happy ending for Italy and the Mona Lisa. Okay, let's move on to this side of the world, North America. Number 6. Stolen Aztec treasure. The Aztec Empire in Mexico was thriving in the 16th century, but its ruler was Montezuma. Met his downfall when Hernan Cortés and his fellow Spanish conquistadors arrived in 1519. They made Montezuma their puppet ruler. He died in 1520. In unclear circumstances, the face tried to sneak away from Aztec capital of okay, hopefully I get this right. Tenochtitlan? Hopefully that's right. In the cover of night. On June 30th, 1520, when the huge hull of Aztec gold, but one of their vessels sunk. You said karma got to them. Now, in a dried up canal, they fed into the Texcoco, resulting in the death of many Spanish and the loss of some of the gold. Okay, really. Karma got to them. The night became known as, hopefully I pronounce this name right, La Noche Triste, or the Night of Sadness. To the Spanish, you can tell my Spanish is not very good. The Spanish returned a few months later to retrieve the lost gold, but they recovered only a portion of it. Some of the gold was found recently. Excuse me. When a construction worker unearthed a century-old gold bar in Mexico City, which stands where Aztec capital and its surrounding waters once but much of the gold is still missing. Maybe we'll find it, maybe we'll not. We'll have to see. Never know. Okay, let's move on to number 7. To the Amber Room. The Amber Room was constructed in Catherine Palace in 18th century. You can tell we're going back to Europe in this list. In the 18th century in Tsarskoye near St. Petersburg. The room connected gold-plated mosaics, mirrors, and carving, along with panels constructed out of about 1,000 pounds. That makes up to 450 kilograms of amber. That's a lot of amber. uh, Tsars Ko Solo was captured by Germany in 1941 during the World War II. In the room's panels and artwork were dismantled and taken to Germany. They haven't been seen since, and it's possible they are now destroyed. Today, Catherine's Palace hosts a recreation of the Amber Room. So since they can't find the real Amber Room, because there's possibly the faction that you're not supposed to see on YouTube. I looked it up. Let's not go there. Anyways, might have destroyed it. So, they had to recreate it to make it look like the way it was. Okay. Before the Second World War. Okay. Which is kind of nice that they can recreate it. But it's, you think of it's not the same. It's hard to say if they could find the actual lamp. It'd be nice. If they can't, they can't. Some things are lost to history. That's what the whole video's about. We're gonna see what's lost and what's not lost. Okay, let's move on to number 8. We're going to Asia, no, Africa. Okay. To cross my fingers again. I'll get another tough word. To sarcophagus. Sarcophagus. Menkaure. Hopefully that's right. The pyramid of the Egyptian pharaoh Menkaure is the smallest of 3 pyramids constructed at Giza around 4,500 years ago. That's a long time ago. Around 4 years old. And in 1830s, the English military officer Howard Howard got a tough last name. VYSE. Explored the Giza pyramids at times using destructive technologies. Ooh, yeah, I imagine he did something. A little TNT. Yeah, his use of explosives, yeah, I was right, being most of the notorious, oh God, to make his way through the structures. Really, Howard, you had to blow the place up? Okay, VYSC made a number of discoveries of Giza, including ornament Sphinxes found in Menkare's pyramid. VYSC. I'm spelling it out because it's not an easy last name. Tried to ship the sarcophagus to England in 1838, and this doesn't sound good. Around the merchant ship Beatrice, but the ship sank. Yeah, I was right. During its journey, and took the ornate sarcophagus down with it. Ooh. Well, if Earl has sea burial. If the Beatrice was ever found, and maybe possibly to receive the ancient sarcophagus. Yep, he is sea burial. Yeah, it's never ever good when you hear taking ancient stuff. Doesn't spell good. It spells in disaster. Okay, let's move on to something else more ancient. Let's talk biblical. Okay, number 9. Yeah, this one's more biblical. Ark of the Covenant. Yeah, it's biblical. According to the Hebrew Bible, in the Ark of the Covenant was a chest that held tablets engraved with the 10 Commandments. The chest was kept in a temple in Jerusalem in ancient Israel that was said to have been built by King Solomon. I'm just gonna be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Have been built by King Solomon. The temple was sometimes called the first temple and was most sacred site on earth for Jews. But it was discovered in 587 BC. Yeah, so when an army from ancient Babylon, which today would be Iraq, ancient Babylon, led by King Nebuchadnezzar II, conquered Jerusalem, sacked the city. It's unclear what happened to the Ark of the Covenant, and its location has been a source of speculation. Yeah, today no one really knows what the Ark of the Covenant is. I don't even know where the Ark of the Covenant is. It could be anywhere. It could be buried in somebody's backyard. We don't know. We probably won't. We won't know until somebody probably finds it. Okay, let's move on to number 10. First, I'm taking a drink. Coke. Supposed to be cold out today. At least in Hartney it is. I don't know. It was cold wherever the rest of the year is. Okay, let's move on to number 10 now. To Hojo Masumi sword. Yeah, we're another Asian story. The Hojo Masumi is the sword that was supposedly created by Ajor Udu, a Masumene who lived from 1264 to 1343 and is considered by many to be the greatest sword maker in Japanese history. The sword is named after one of the owners. Hojo Ishin Inigaza, I think I pronounced that right, who took it as a prize after the 16th century battle. The sword later came into possession of Tokugawa Ieyasu, hopefully I pronounced that right, who became the first shogun of Japan. After winning a series of wars in the 16th century, the sword passed down through Tokugawa family until it ended till the end of World War II. When the sword was turned over to American authorities during the American occupation of Japan, as they were condemned on the sword. The others like it could be used against Americans, but the sword never reappeared. It's possible that the U.S. soldiers destroyed the sword, although with other captured Japanese swords, weapons, or they may have brought the sword to America, meaning it could be recovered. So it's possible it could have it's still around modern day, or it's got destroyed. I don't know why you destroy something that ancient. You can't get that back if you destroy it. Unless you have a time machine, pop back and get the guy that originally owned it to give it to you. Otherwise, that's not going to happen. Well, hopefully it's not destroyed. For me, I like having history not destroyed. It gives the next generation to learn history of our world. Okay, let's move on to number 11. And this story, we're going back to Europe. Lost Library of Moscow's Tsars. Library of the Moscow Tsars supposedly contained vast collections of ancient Greek texts, as well as texts written in a variety of other languages. Well, that's neat. The rulers of the Grand Duchy of Moscow supposedly built the library by 1518. In its 16th century, Prince Aubrey let's cross our fingers. It's totally the last name. Kurbsky wrote of a meeting between philosopher Maximus, 1475-1556, and Grand Prince Moscow Lassie III, 1479 to 1533. The dates I'm reading is the years they were living. You're wondering. Okay. In which the Grand Prince showed Maximus a massive number of Greek books. Wrote by David Arans, a scholar. An article published in 1983 in the article of Library History. There are claims that Ivan IV, better known as Ivan the Terrible, who lived from 1530 to 1584. Somehow, the library's texts, there have been many attempts over the centuries to find this hidden library, but as far the researchers have come up empty-handed. Regardless of whether or not the hidden library exists, a number of ancient texts written in Greek and other languages are located in artifacts in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Historian Patricia Kennedy Grimstead wrote in her book Artifacts in Russia, a directory and bibliographic guide to holdings in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Routledge in 1997. That'd be nice if they were found again. It seems like an interesting library. Okay. Let's move on to number 12. We're going in the Emerald Isles. Crown Jewels of Ireland. Stolen in... Oh, we got another stolen object here. Stolen in 1907 from Dublin Castle. The crown jewels of Ireland were not connected with any coronation ceremony, including no crown. Rather, they are compressed a jewelry star of the Order of St. Patrick, a diamond brooch, and 5 gold collars of the orders. All crown property. Thomas Rinda. I'll say I don't know my Irish last names. And I have a little Irish in me. Okay. Hopefully I got that one right. Her historian and project manager of the University College of Cork wrote an article published in 2001 in History Ireland magazine. The Order of St. Patrick was found in 1783 to reward those in high office in Ireland and Irish peers, referred to as knights. Competence on who supported the government of the day and depended of O'Riordan Britain collected Ireland at the time these crown jewels were created in 1783. The jewelry was made from 394 stones, and the Order of Badge. Queen Charlotte was the wife of King George III. The jewels also held rubies from Mughal emperor, and possibly precious stones provided by a sultan of Turkey. O'Riordan said the jewels were kept in library and lacked security. Oh, that's probably why they get stolen. Was blamed for making the robbery possible. Who stole the jewels and what happened to them remained a mystery. Well, if they had upped the security, it would have been still there. A wide range of people have been suspected of pulling off the heist, including Francis Shackleton, the brother of the famous explorer Ernest Shackleton, although nothing was ever proven. All I was gonna say is they had up the security. Maybe they wouldn't have got stolen. Hopefully they find it. It seems like a great part of Ireland's history. Okay, let's move on to number 13. Two chapeaux lost. I think this is chapeaux. Yeah, chapeaux. Last poems. The Greek lyric poet Chapeaux, who lived in the 7th century BC, was the Shakespeare of her day. Oh, it's a she. She was highly regarded by the ancient Greeks, who considered her to be one of the finest poets. Unfortunately for us, few of her poems still survive. Poems survive, I mean. In 2014, however, sections of To Ever Before seen poems from Chapeaux were revealed by the University of Oxford. Paralogris Drick Bink. One poem talks about her brothers, while the other tells a unique love. Their provenance is unclear. In 2021, Brill retraced article written by Bink, where detailed its provenance, and right now it's uncertain where they came from. Oh. There's a little mystery there for the Greek lady's poems. Who doesn't love a mystery? Okay. Number 14. Moving on to number 14. Dead Bishop's Treasure. In 1937, a ship called the São Vicente set sail from Lisbon in Portugal to Nivigone in France, carrying treasures acquired by Abad de Castleton, the Bishop of Lisbon, who had recently died. The treasures include gold, silver, rugs, tapestries, jewels, fine plates, and ever potential articles. While sailing near the town of Cartagena, in modern-day Spain. The São Vincent was attacked by two heavily armed pirate vessels. It's getting a little fun. Scary. Whose crew seized the treasure. It's their booty now. One pirate ship commanded by a man named Eduardo Botafogo, hopefully that's right, which in language used at the time in Iberia means fire blast or fire fart. Was later captured after it ran aground. However, the other pirate ship, commanded by Martin Yenes, appears to have made a clear getaway. What happened to Yenes, his pirate crew, and the stolen treasure is unknown. Little mystery. Where is the bishop's treasure? Okay. Moving on to number 15. To the just judges. Yeah, that's what it is. Just judges. You're hearing right. You're hearing right for sure. The Just Judges panel is part of the Guernica altarpiece, a 15th century work of art, painted by Hubert and Jan van Eyck in St. Bravos Cathedral in Ghent, Belgium. The panel shows a number of characters whose identity are uncertain on horseback. So a car back then is horse. Getaway horse. On horseback, Philip the Good was a Duke of Burgundy at the time of the altarpiece was created, as little one of the character is likely one of the characters. The panel was stolen in 1934. And has never been found. Few tips continue to come in, and the case filled, which is now more than 2,000 pages long, is still active and Noel Cranny, a poet historian, and wrote in an article published in The Guardian in 2013. There had been numerous other attempts to steal the Just Judges panel. Other parts of the grand altarpiece prior to the 1934 theft. Oof. That's one thing that keeps on getting stolen, I guess. Okay, let's move on to number 16. Florence Diamond. Florent Diamond. The yellow 137 carat Florentine diamond was right. It was likely formed in India that made its way to Europe. By the end of 15th century, however, when it got to Europe as a member of Depart, one of the story is that Charles the Bold, I don't relate to this guy, who was the Duke of Burgundy from 1487 to 1477. You gotta love family. Had it cut from a larger diamond and was so eminent from the Florentine diamond that he never carried it with him into battle and was supposedly killed with on him. After World War I, the last emperor of Austria-Hungary, Charles I, fled with it to Switzerland. Why not? Let's go to Switzerland. Where he put it in a bank vault, entrusting it to the Austrian lawyer named Bruno Steiner, who was supposed to help the deposed royal family sell it and other royal jewels. I guess you need to sell some stuff to make cash. Wrote historian Gordon Brooke Shepherd in the book Uncrowned Emperor: The Life and Times of Otto von Habsburg. You know, from the famous Habsburgs that keep on inbreeding. Bloomsbury, 2007. It's unclear what happened next. A news report published in 1924 indicated that Steiner was arrested, charged with fraud, and acquired it's possibly that the Florentine diamond was recut and now is a series of smaller diamonds. That could be a possibility. That's probably why they can't find the Florentine diamond anymore. Okay, let's move on. To 17. Lost Da Vinci Manual. Okay. So we're talking about Leonardo again. In 1850, Leonardo da Vinci painted a mural depicting 1440s victory of the Italian, led by Florence over Milan in the Battle of how did I get this right? Harvey. The mural created in it's supposed to be a mural created in Palazzo Vincenzo, the town hall in Florence, disappears in 1563 when the hall was demolished. No, actually not demolished, remodeled by painter and architect Gregory Vasari. In 2012, a team of art experts announced they had discovered evidence that the mural was not destroyed and that Vasari has simply painted his own mural over Da Vinci's work. It's kind of like, how you're remodeling a house and you pull apart 6 layers of paint or 6 layers of wallpaper. It's kind of like that. Okay. Let's continue on. The team had been doing scientific tests on the mural for years and had published a few of their studies, including a radar study published in the journal NDT and E in International in 2005. However, the team's results never confirmed the research was put in indefinite holding Let's turn some. Okay. Yeah. Let's put on indefinite hold later that year. In 2020, that was 4 years ago, a different team of researchers contained that Da Vinci never painted the mural to begin with. Although this claim also disputes what became of the mural and whether it ever existed, in subject of debate. So, did it exist or didn't it? Did Vinci paint it or did he paint it? Or is it hearsay, kind of like the Atlantis story? Is it real or is it not real? Okay, let's move on to number 18. Oh, we're back to the guy from earlier. Men-O-Rahai from the Second Temple. We're talking about this guy again. Between roughly AD 66 and 74, Jewish rebels fought against the Roman army in attempts to free Israel from Roman Empire's control. In AD 70, the rebels suffered a critical blow as Jerusalem was captured by Roman force, led by Titus, a general who would later become a Roman emperor. Second Temple at the time was the most important religious site for the Jewish people, was destroyed. And the Roman army carried its treasures back to ancient Rome. These treasures included the temple's menorah lamp. Oh, so this is about the menorah lamp. Set with 6 branches. So if you've seen the menorah lamp, there's 6 branches for every night of Hanukkah. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in last year's episode of Christmas December holidays. Anyways, yeah, the 6 branches. Yeah. So yeah, it's supposed to be for every night of Hanukkah. The Ark of Titus, located close to the Colosseum in Rome. That'd be a great place to go see. It's Rome. It's Colosseum. Anyways, including a scene departing the menorah being carried to Rome in the scene. The menorah appears as massive objects almost as big as the soldiers carried it. The fate of the menorah after it arrived in Rome is unclear. That'd be neat to recover that. find the mystery of the menorah. Where is it? The ancient menorah from all the way back in 66 or in 74 AD. What happened to it after it landed in Rome? That's a mystery there. Still my drink. Okay, let's move on. My roommate's home. Okay, number 19. Okay, number 19. Copper Scroll treasures. Perhaps the most usual dead scroll discovered in Qumran caves in the West Bank is a text engraved on a sheet of copper that discusses the location of a vast amount of hidden treasure. The Copper Scroll, as it is called in a museum in Jordan, whether the ancient writer of the scroll was describing a reel of legendary treasure, is a source of debate among scholars. At the time the scroll was written, about AD 70. The Roman army was the process of defeating Jewish groups that were rebelling against Roman rule. The Roman army had taken Jerusalem and destroyed the Second Temple. Some scholars have speculated the treasures referred to in Copper Scroll. Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Could be real treasures that were hidden before the Roman army destroyed the temple. Other scholars have argued that the amount of treasures discussed in the Copper Scroll is so vast that must be the stuff of legend. So, was that true? Was there Romans picked up an actual Copper Scroll back then? The Jewish group had? Or was it, as they say, stuff of legend? I guess we won't know unless somebody finds it. Okay, let's move on to number 20. The Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum Stolen Yard. I've heard about this one in a TV show. This was in Drunken History show to watch. It was mentioned. Okay. Let's see what art was stolen from Isabel's museum. On March 18th, 1990, well, I was like 4 years old when this happened. Two thieves dressed as police officers broke into Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, Massachusetts, and stole 13 works of art valued about $5 million. Probably more today. They include 3 works of the Dutch painter Rembrandt, 5 works by French artist Agar Degas. The thieves identified identity is still unknown. And the artwork has never been recovered. It's possibly the thieves who stole the works of art are now dead, probably. And the paintings were severely damaged and destroyed. So the value would go down if it was damaged. Or destroyed. Despite the high value of art, it would be difficult to sell, as well known, and any buyer could easily determine that it was stolen and ended up facing criminal charges themselves. So, yeah, don't go buying pieces of art that have been stolen. You don't want to get in trouble yourself. I wonder where they are now. That's a lot of money for that. Okay. Number 21. A Peking Man. In 1923, the fossils of Horrid, that is sometimes called Peking Man, a form of Homo sapiens who lived between 200,000 to 750,000 years ago, was discovered in a cave near the village of High Snowy. It's not the village of High Snowy. No, you say hi. She doesn't want to say it. The village of... hopefully we get this straight. Azu Croadan. Hopefully that's right. Close to Beijing, which at the time was called Peking. Excuse me. The fossils disappeared in 1941 during the Japanese invasion of China. Their location today is unknown. Some scholars have speculated that fossils were lost at sea while being transported to the United States. In effort to save them from the invasion, others by Snowy, others think they think they may actually be located under a parking lot in China. Kind of like Richard III. I don't know, maybe. I don't know what's under a parking lot. Number 22. Q source. Okay. Q source, as modern day scholars call it for sometimes Q, is a hyperbolic first century AD text that contains a number of sayings attributed to Jesus. And so it involves Jesus. If it exists, scholars believe that the Q source was used by ancient writers to help craft the Gospel of Matthew and Luke. The existence of Q source is based partly on the fact that the passages in Matthew and Luke are identical, while Gospel of Mark is believed to be a source of both Matthew and Luke. Some passages included in both Matthew and Luke are not in Mark. Some scholars believe that those passages are from other sources, which they call Q source. Q stands for Quili, which means source in German. The problem is that no copy of the Q source, if it really existed, is known to survive. Some recent scholarship suggests that the Gospel of Markan, a second century non-consensual text, may contain parts of the Q source. So, what do you think? Does the Q source, was it a real thing, or was it fictional? I guess, I don't know, like, it's hard to say. Okay, let's move on. No, he's back. To number 23. There's an original name for this, but since this is a YouTube video, we're not supposed to say the original name. So, I had to change it. If you've heard of this, you'll know the original name. Okay. 23. German gold. According to legend, near the end of World War II, a German force led by SS officer Ernest Kaltenbrunner sunk a vast amount of gold into lake top lits in Austria to keep it from being captured by invading allies. Since that time, numerous searches have been undertaken, but so far no gold has been found. It's possible the story is just a legend, that in reality no gold was sunk in the lake. However, some researchers have noted that the lake has poor visibility. That's probably why they can't find it. And vast amount of logs. That's not going to help either. And debris that make attempts to locate any gold both difficult and dangerous. Some drivers have been killed trying to find gold in the lake's water. So is it worth finding the German gold? If has all that in there? The logs and debris. Or maybe they're gonna find it someday. We'll find. I never know. Maybe someday in the future, with all the modern technology, we'll might be able to find it. Okay, we'll move on. 24. Lost Raphael painting. Okay, we're going back to Italy. The Italian painter Raphael Zazzucci, often simply called Raphael, kind of like the Teenage Mutant Turtles. He lived from 1483 to 1520. Painting the striking portrait of a young man. The identity of the person in the painting and exact date when Raphael made it are both unknown. The painting was unknown by Kartoyski Museum in Krakow, Poland. In September 1939, when the German army invaded Poland, German officials stole the painting from stole the painting from the museum, intending to put the plan in the Firma Museum in Linz Art Gallery in Austria. The Monuments Men Foundation noted on this website the Firmin Museum, hopefully I pronounced that right, was never built. The painting was last seen in Han Frank's chalet. How has it? In Narvis on Lake. Oh God. uh, Charleroi, Germany. In January 1945, Frank was a German official who was put in charge of occupied Poland. Whew. Where he oversaw numerous war crimes. The murder of war crimes and the murder of Polish Jews. Oh God. I wonder why I don't like to. After World War II, he was put on trial and sentenced to death. Good. Not the war crimes against the Jews, but the guy dying. Huh? And executed, but Raphael's painting has never been found. That's a shame. What that faction, the German faction, did. Maybe someday the Raphael's painting will get found. Somebody has to have it. You never know. Especially you never know what's in your attic or your basement. Okay. Let's move on. Or buried in the backyard. Don't forget that. Okay. Moving on to 25. The Royal Casket. In 1800, Poland's Princess, hopefully I pronounce this right, Isabella Czartoryska created the so-called Royal Casket, which was a collection of artifacts from the royal families who had ruled the country. Those artifacts including jewelry worn by kings of Poland, works of art, and other mementos. Poland has ceased to exist as an independent state in 1795, having been divided up among. The Royal Casket could eventually fall victim to another group of invaders. It was seized by Germany after it invaded Poland in September 1939. The casket's contents are now lost. Where is the Royal Casket? Maybe over time we'll get found like some of these. Let's see, somebody else that would. Okay. Let's move on to number 26. To love's labors one. That's a lovely title. Okay. William Shakespeare, known to have written the play Love's Labour's Won, though throughout no copies survive today. It may be a sequel to Love, Labour's Lost, a comedy that Shakespeare penned in the 1590s. Documents in the 1590s and 1600s intended the Love's Labour's Won had been published by 1598 and was still being sold in 1603. Throughout, no surviving copies have been found. William Carroll, an English professor at Boston University, wrote in preface to republished edition of Love, Labour's Lost. Cambridge University Press, 2009. Some scholars believe the records of Love, Labour's Won refer to another play by Shakespeare called Much Ado About Nothing, which is well known and still performed today. One Royal Shakespeare Company production even retitled the performance, which can be seen on YouTube, so go and check that out. Much to Do About Nothing to Love, Labour's Won, based on this theory. That'd be something to check out on YouTube if you want. Type it in this YouTube search bar. It seems sad that half of Shakespeare's play is gone. It's kind of neat that somebody's made that kind of cross referred to Much Ado About Nothing, Love, Labour's Lost into one. Well, it's pretty neat. Go check that theory out if you want. Okay. Let's move on to number 27. First century Gospels. Oh, I got some more religious stuff here. The oldest surviving copies of the Chronicle Christian Gospels, Mark, Luke, and Matthew. And John. We can't forget about John. Dated to the 2nd century AD. However, many scholars believe that some of these Gospels are technically written in the second half of the 1st century AD. This was led into several questions to do. How many copies survive from the 1st century? If so, how many could we determine their date? In 2015, scholars reported that they have found a fragment of the Gospel of Mark within the remains of a mummy's mask. Interesting. Which believed dated to the 1st century. However, after the text was published in 2018, edition of the Journal of Oxyrhynchus, hopefully this is right, it turned out that the text dated to the 2nd or 3rd century. There you go. We found it. And the mystery. They found it in some dead Egyptian guy's sarcophagus. Okay. Let's move on to number 28. To Michelangelo's Mask of Firin. This is a marble, the Mask of Firin. Firin being a half-man, half-goat mythical creature. Ooh, interesting. Has been attributed to Italian artist Michelangelo da Vinci. Buonarroti Simoni, often simply called Michelangelo, who lived from 1475 to 1564. The Bargello Museum of Florence, Italy, owned the mask, but it was stolen in 1944 from Castello di Poppi, a castle in Tuscany. The thieves stole soldiers from the German army's 305 division that was attached to the German 10th Army. The Monuments Men Foundation noted on its website the soldiers stole the mask. What else did they steal? Sometimes between August 22nd to August 23rd, 1944, and placed it in a truck. After a short stop in Forlì, Italy, the 10th Army truck contracted this work of art, and others continued. On August 31st, the foundation website said the appearance to have been the last time it was seen. The mass present location is unknown. Suggestion maybe they should look at the last place it was seen. Yeah, that's sad. Much stuff's getting missed over time, so let's see what else is on our list. And we're moving on to number 29. Caravigos Nativity. The Nativity with St. Francis and St. Lawrence was created in 1609 by Italian painter Michelangelo Massavis da Caravaggio, who lived from 1571 to 1610. It shows the birth of Christ, with infant Jesus laying on a haystack, on a scene that highlights the poverty of his birth. According to the scholars, the painting was stolen in 1969. When it was in a chapel, for God's sakes, in Palermo, in Sicily. An Italian painter was never found, and it remains unclear who stole it. It's long been suspected the numbers of Sicilian mafia carried out the heist. In 2015, a replica of the painting was unveiled in a chapel where the original was stolen. Okay. Because in a way, it got back to the chapel it was first started, where it got originally stolen. That's neat. Some of the stuff has happy endings, some doesn't. Let's see what else is on the list. Moving on to 30. Missing Romanov Easter eggs. I've heard of this. Between 1885 to 1916, the jewelry company Fabergé, run at the time by Russian jewelry Peter Carl Fabergé, made an ornament decorated Easter eggs for Russian imperial family. These eggs were unlimitedly exhibited of the renowned Russian jewelry house. It must also be considered the last consuming of objects of d'art. Fabergé notes on its company's website the 10 eggs were produced from 1885 to 1893. During the reign of Emperor Alexander III, 40 more were created during the rule of his doubtful son, Nicholas II. Oh, Nicky. 2 each year. One for his mother, the dowager. The second for his wife. Russian Revolution in 1917 led to the execution of Nicholas II, the last Tsar of Russia, along with each of the Romanov family. In the aftermath of their deaths, some of the eggs went missing and were still unaccounted for today. Rumors claim that some of them are in private collectors around the world. It is possible some could be in the United States. Documents that have come to light showing the shipments of antiques and artifacts, and estimated to $164 million were shipped from the Soviet Union to the USA at the end of the Cold War. I've actually seen pictures of these, and they're pretty. They're very, very pretty. I'm actually Tsar Nicholas II is actually his wife's a cousin of mine. Do a family tree. There's an idea. We can talk about family trees in another episode. Okay. But hopefully they actually find all the collections someday, because they're so pretty. If you ever look online on pictures of them, they're so pretty, those Fabergé eggs. Yeah. Sorry, I cried. Yeah, they're so pretty, man. So shame that they got all lost in downfall of the imperial royal family of Russia. Yeah. You should take a look at them on the internet. They're so pretty. Okay, let's move on. 31. Julius Rimet Trophy. Julius Rimet Trophy was a prize that was awarded to winning the team of the Soccer World Cup tournament. Oh, we're going to be talking about soccer here. Trophy named for Julius Rimet, a former World Cup, was sculpted by Abel Lefevre. Had a depiction of a goddess of victory holding an optical vessel above her head, producing in gold with a base of semi-precious stones. The FIFA, the International Governing Organization of Soccer, said on its website the trophy was first awarded in 1930 at the hopefully it was right, World Cup. It passed from winner to winner every year. But in 1970, Brazil won the champion competition for the third time. Go Brazil. According to FIFA rules, the first time to win the World Cup 3 times would gain permanent position of Julius Raymond Trophy. Okay. The cup was therefore sent to Brazil. The new World Cup was created. In 1983, the cup was stolen. Like half of this stuff in this episode. In Rio de Janeiro, and hasn't seen since. The thieves may have melted down the cup. Oh no. Which made largely of gold and weighed about 13 pounds. So that's about up to 6.1 kilograms. This wasn't the first time the Julius Raymond Trophy has been stolen. In 1966, the trophy was taken from the Methodist Hall in London. The trophy was recovered a week later when it was discovered by a dog named Pickles. Good boy. Or girl. And its owner, David Cobbett. Good for them. Who found it lying in a street in South London, wrapped in newspaper and string. According to FIFA's website, the thief or thieves of this robbery was never found. Oh. That's a shame. I bet it was look pretty.
That was just a bun. I have to cut some meat and then get some cucumber and tomato and supper should be ready.
Okay, I'm almost done.
And I just had to cook what to do because I did some dishes.
I heard you.
Because I was bored.
Once I post it, my viewers are going to hear you banging in the kitchen. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to number 23. Treasures of Nimrud. The ancient city of Nimrud is located in modern-day Iraq. Was the capital of Assyrian Empire during the reign of Ashurnasirpal. Hopefully I get that right. The second, who ruled in 838 to 859 BC. He built a new palace at Nimrud along with other amenities. Recent history has not been kind to Nimrud. The terrorist group, sometimes called Islamic State group, or we all know as ISIS, captured the ancient city in June 2014 during a military offensive. It wasn't recaptured until November 2016. By then, ICE had blown up part of the city and used bulldozers to destroy and dig up other portions, and looting also took place in a period after the ancient city was retaken. When a little secret could be proved, while many treasures at Nimrud had been destroyed, others were damaged and can be reconstructed, and still others may be rediscovered on the black market. Yeah, that's sad what they did. Okay. Okay, let's move on to number 33. George Mallory's lost camera. So we're going to be talking about a camera. Is Dashy still in here? British explorer George Mallory and Andrew Irving disappeared on June 8th, 1924, while nearing the top of Mount Everest. So we're going up a mountain. A storm may have doomed their final push to climb the mountain. No one subsequently succeeded in reach the summit until 1953, when a team led by Edmund Hillary became the first to climb Mount Everest. One question that remains unanswered is whether Mallory and Irving managed to reach the top. Before they died, Mallory's body was discovered in 1999. Evidence suggested he was killed by a fall. Ouch. Irving's body has been found. It's possible that the camera Mallory and Irving took with them will also be found. If the film in the camera is still preserved, I think it might be, then it's possible it could be developed. And the question of whether Mallory and Irving made it to the top of Everest before dying can be finally solved. Maybe someday they will find the camera.
You're just about done.
I'm almost done.
I haven't got the check-in yet. I just gotta find a cunning.
Okay. Number 23. We should move on because Anita's getting supper going, and she just asked if we're almost done here. Okay. Look. Okay, number 23. The life of General Vela. The Life of General Vela is a lost film that depicted the Mexican Revolutionary General Francisco Pancho Villa. Okay, from 1878 to 1923, who fought a series of battles against Mexican leaders. While the film was heavily fictionalized, it features footage of the real-life battles fought by Villa's forces. Villa himself signed a contract with Mutual Film Corporation, the maker of the movie, that allowed filmmakers to film him in real-life battles fought by his troops in exchange for the share of the movie's earnings. While the film was the film was released and shown publicly, is now lost. Villa, an enemy of the United States, not long after the film's release, when his troops crossed into New Mexico, killed several Americans. A USA military expedition into Mexico in 1916 failed to hunt him down. Although he was assassinated in 1923, it may have been ordered by some of the Mexican leaders. Wonder where that film is. Okay. Let's move on to the last one. We're on our last one. Number 36. World's first feature-length film. The story of the Kelly Gang. I don't think I've ever heard of the Kelly Gang. Let's find out about the Kelly Gang. Okay, released in Australia in 1906, is regarded by many as the world's first feature-length film, running at an hour long. The movie predicted the story of a 19th century outlaw, Nick Kelly, lived from 1854 to 1880. His gang, the film, was a huge success. Film historians Sally Jackson and Graham Shirley wrote in an article on the National Film and Sound Active Australia's website. The film opened in Melbourne on Boxing Day in 1906, went on to enthralled audience across the country. Jackson and Shirley wrote, by late 1907, the film had screened in New Zealand and England, where it was billed as the longest film ever made. The film's depiction of a criminal gang earned it some notoriety reports of crime and censorship false screenings around the country. In May 1907, the film inspires 5 local children in Victorian town of Ballarat to break into a photograph studio to steal money, after which they bailed out a group of school children at gunpoint. Jackson and Shirley wrote in April, the Victorian chief security banned the film from Benalla and Wangaratta, 2 towns with strong Kelly connections. Fortunately, the film was never properly preserved. By the 1970s, only some of the publicly material and few photographs remain. Jackson and Shirley noted discoveries of bits of film, along with restoring work, have allowed for about a quarter of the film to be revealed, but the remains are lost. Is that true? They even say that about the silent films. Most of them are lost too over time because of the certain film that it's made on. That's kind of sad. Okay. Hopefully you like that. If you did, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. And if you subscribe, don't forget to hit the little bell button so you can get notifications when I upload more videos in the future. And don't forget to comment. And have a good night to wherever you are. And if you're watching somewhere else that's daytime, then good morning. Otherwise, good night and goodbye.